Right now, on To the Point, InNOut is moving out.
They should be here in California, and they should be growing and expanding in California.
Why the popular fast food chain is relocating its headquarters to the southeast.
After more than a decade of issues, a major Stockton homeless encampment is set to be cleaned up again. What makes this time different?
Tonight, missing peacocks have owners of this historic hotel crying foul. The sheriff's office now getting involved. And flight delays and cancellations are causing headaches this summer. What you can do to keep your trip on track and avoid a travel nightmare.
Thank you so much for joining us on To the Point. I'm Alex Bell. They have called California home for the past 77 years. Now the CEO of InNOut says that they are moving out of the state. Lindsay Snyder is the granddaughter of InNOut's founders and has been running the company for years. She says that she's now moving the business to Tennessee. The announcement has many people divided on the issue, as you can imagine. But tonight, one California lawmaker is blaming the governor, while economists say that the state's policies are to blame. I want to bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who joins us in studio with the details and, of course, the governor's response on all of this. Jeannie?
Well, Alex, the popular fast food restaurant CEO made this announcement during a podcast interview. And to be clear, a majority of InNOut stores will stay open, but the CEO admits it's been difficult raising a family and running a business here in the state.
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed.
Often referred to as a California staple, InNOut's CEO says the company is moving east. Lindsay Snyder recently appeared on a podcast saying she will move her family to Franklin, Tennessee, and build an office there. She adds the company will still have its Baldwin Park headquarters and keep the majority of its stores open, but close its Irvine office. This is the first for the company, which has been in California since 1948.
Just in the last few years, we've lost Hewlett-Packard, Fidelity, Carl's Jr., now InNOut, Tesla, Chevron, Oracle, Charles Schwab. How many companies are we going to lose?
Last year, the company closed its Oakland location, citing crime. Senator Tony Strickland says things have to change on a policy level, or else we will continue to lose more.
I still think California's best days are in the future, but it just takes leadership. And right now we have failed leadership in terms of our governor and our legislature.
Despite the loss, financial experts say California remains firm as the fourth largest economy in the world.
From an economic vibrancy point of view, it's kind of amazing that California does well in spite of itself.
But experts warn the state's policies could be its downfall.
I think the tone needs to change at the top. Texas, Florida have a very welcoming tone towards the businesses that are coming out from California. They welcome the businesses from here. They say, listen, we want you here.
In a recent podcast interview, Governor Gavin Newsom said 40% of Californians pay lower taxes than in Texas and Florida, but acknowledged the steep taxes for high-income earners.
If your only constituency are rich people, then I understand we're a high-tax state.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the governor says California is proud to help Lindsay become a billionaire while growing the InNOut business and her family, adding the state is the #1 place to grow a business. Ultimately, lawmakers like Senator Strickland agree, but changes have to happen.
They should be here in California, and they should be growing and expanding in California.
Now, the governor's office adds California has more Fortune 500 companies than any other state and is a leader in trade, manufacturing, and AI innovation. We also reached out to InNOut, but did not get a response. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. And as you heard in her story, InNOut isn't alone. In the last few years, major companies once headquartered in California have moved to other states. Now, take a look at this. High-profile companies like Tesla and Chevron moved from the Bay Area to Texas. Oracle HP Enterprise also moved to Texas. And according to the Public Policy Institute of California, the moves are mostly because of concerns about the state's economic future and tend to go towards states with lower taxes and less regulation. However, the number of headquarters that have left the state is small. From 2011 to 2021, less than 2% of the state's more than 47,000 headquarters left California. Roughly half of the headquarters that left were in manufacturing, wholesale trade, or business services. New tonight, the first lawsuit has been filed in the wake of the fireworks explosion in Esparto that killed 7 people. Etta James Farming filed the lawsuit against Kenneth Chi, the owner of Devastating Pyrotechnics, Craig Cutright, the owner of Black Star Fireworks, and Sam Machado, the owner of the property where the fireworks were stored. According to the attorney for Etta James Farming, they are suing for damage done to their wheat crops by the fire. Last week, all barriers and roadblocks were removed for the first time since the July 1st incident. Now, the lawsuit also claims Machado, quote, realized financial benefits from allowing the defendants to operate an unlawful and unpermitted commercial-grade fireworks operation at the fireworks facility that included the storage and sale of illegal fireworks to members of the public, end quote. We also want to mention that we did reach out to Chi's attorney for comment, but we have not heard anything back yet. All right, after years of complaints, a homeless encampment in North Stockton is set to be cleared tomorrow. While city leaders and some neighbors have been calling for cleanup, homeless advocates are pushing back. ABC10's Gabriel Porras is hearing from both sides.
Today, dogs bark alongside the singing birds and rustling trees in this corner of North Stockton. But tomorrow will bring the sound of bulldozers. This encampment, nestled in the bushes and trees, set to be cleared.
Unfortunately, it's just been a crisis going on.
A crisis playing out almost literally in Michael Caton's backyard. A levee is all that separates this 23-year-old neighborhood from the trash, loose dogs, and debris.
You have guys walking down the street with knives and daggers, and they go to the community stores over here, and they're always stealing.
It has been here for approximately 14 years. And when I came into office, I made a commitment to the constituents that we'd get this area cleaned up. And thankfully, it's coming to fruition.
But the planned cleanup isn't the first. The state alone has spent more than $86,000 cleaning up this site.
Last cleanup means they just took away some garbage, and that was basically it.
The cleanup has doubled in size since that has happened.
Councilmember Michelle Padilla promises this time will be different.
What the city plans to do is come out here on a daily basis and ensure that the area doesn't get inhabited again.
We're 2 thumbs up.
Homeless advocate Jessica Velez is raising red flags.
I'm still waiting on a miracle.
She says most of the 20 to 30 people living at the encampment need more time.
Most of them have no plans. Most of them have nowhere to go. We just need to do this, intelligently, instead of just jumping the gun and throwing people out into the streets with all these animals.
I do feel sorry and compassionate for them as well, but not with the actions that they're doing in reference to this area.
You'll be back here tomorrow?
Absolutely. I'll be here bright and early to witness the cleanup.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
And the city says for the cost of the cleanup, it has not been determined yet, but it will be shared between the State Lands Commission and also the county and other agencies that are involved in this. Now, a closer look at homelessness in San Joaquin County. September's 2024's point-in-time count showed homelessness doubled in the county compared to 2022. The number of people sleeping outdoors and not in shelter increased nearly 160%. Tonight, the search is on for some missing peacocks from the Ride Hotel out in Walnut Grove. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is calling this felony property theft. 2 of the males are valued at $2,000 each. The 4 females are valued at $1,000 each. The peafowl spend most of their time in the area of the Ride Hotel in Walnut Grove.
There was a drop in the number of peafowl. Like I said, at one point we had about 30 or 40. The hardcore group was 15. And in less than a week, it dropped to 4. Wow. So something has happened.
The peafowl come from a pair of birds brought to the property by the original owners. Still a lot of news to get to, so coming up soon, the time is set for making improvements to a busy Placer County roadway. Plus dinner, movie, and a power boost, the latest eatery catering to Tesla drivers.
And how fantastic has the weather been today with highs only in the low to middle 80s? Well, I've got news. It's going to be feeling like mid-October tomorrow in the upper 70s forecast coming up.
But first, in other headlines, another close call in the skies.
Sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise.
A Delta pilot says he was forced to make an aggressive maneuver to avoid colliding with a B-52 bomber. It happened on approach to Minot, North Dakota. It's not clear how close the 2 planes got, and the Air Force says they're looking into it. A Customs and Border Protection officer is now recovering after being shot in the face during an apparent robbery gone wrong. It happened over the weekend in New York City. The officer was off duty in plain clothes when he was approached by 2 men who are now in custody. Investigators say they are both undocumented. During the incident, the officer also shot one of the men. And actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, has died. He drowned in Costa Rica when a strong current pulled him into deeper waters while he was swimming. He was just 54 years old.
Welcome back in. New details tonight about a long anticipated effort to reduce traffic congestion on one of Placer County's busiest areas. Construction on the widening project of Highway 65 is expected to begin in spring of 2027. A stretch of the southbound lanes between Blue Oaks Boulevard and Galleria Boulevard will be widened. Let's get over to your forecast now with meteorologist Brendan Minchef. You're tracking some clouds coming in, right?
Yeah, a few clouds. Doesn't seem much like July out there. We've got temps now in the 70s. We've got clouds moving overhead and onshore winds 15 to 25 miles per hour. This type of weather feels a lot more like mid to late September than it does July, that's for sure. And the whole weather pattern that we're seeing right now in general is much more of a fall-like pattern than a summer pattern, with a low pressure diving through the Pacific Northwest. This is bringing us temperatures way below normal for the time of year. We should be closer to the middle 90s, and we only topped out in the 80s this afternoon. In fact, our observed high was 81 in Sacramento, 86 in Stockton, 86 in Modesto, 85 up in Oroville, mid-70s in the high country for Sacramento. This was the coolest day in exactly a month since June 21st. Right now, it's 76 in Sacramento, 71 in Elk Grove, 80 in Stockton, 83 Modesto, 70s in the foothills, upper 60s in the high country. Starting off tomorrow morning, cool with some clouds. Will be in the mid-50s across much of the valley, 40s in the high country. Look at Tuesday afternoon. These temperatures upper 70s to low 80s across the valley, way more like mid-October than late July. This is typically the hottest time of the year for us, late July into early August. You wouldn't know it based on these temperatures. This is truly a spectacular forecast for Northern California. We will have some clouds through the overnight hours, some marine stratus possible as well, maybe some showers in the coastal range tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at some scattered thunderstorms across the central and northern Sierra. More widespread storms are expected on Thursday afternoon. This is leading to a high risk for new fire starts for the northern Sierra due to lightning. So widespread storms, thunderstorm wind gusts, and not much in the way of rain. Yes, there'll be some lighter showers, but likely a lot of the storms that we're going to see later on this week are going to be dry lightning. That's for later this week in the Sierra. Look at this temperature forecast for the valley. Upper 70s to low 80s, basically the rest of the work week. The record cold high temperature for tomorrow. So the lowest high we've ever had on that day is 75. We're going to be pretty close to that tomorrow, Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Right after the break, 6 months into President Trump's second term, new polling tonight shows where the country stands on his immigration policies. Plus, airport delays can put a damper on summer travel, the tips for navigating the waiting game. Welcome back in. Tonight, Attorney General Rob Bonta is suing the Trump administration again, this time over public benefits programs. So Bonta is challenging the president's decision to restrict access to the more than a dozen programs based on immigration status. This includes California's Head Start program, child care services for low-income people, adult education, and mental health programs. Bonta and 20 other attorneys general argue the new policies threaten the state's social safety nets. Well, it's now been 6 months since President Donald Trump took office for the second time, and new CNN polling offers a new warning sign on his signature policy of immigration. His approval rating currently sits at around 40% for both of his handling of immigration in general and then also deportation specifically. Julia Brenbrook has the details on other key takeaways from this survey.
New CNN polling shows that a rising majority believe that Trump has gone too far when it comes to deporting immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. While that number stood at 45% back in February, it now stands at 55%. Let's dive into some of the other key takeaways here. 53% say they oppose increasing the budget for immigration and customs enforcement by billions of dollars. Nearly 6 in 10 oppose efforts to end birthright citizenship. A 57% majority says they oppose plans to build new detention facilities capable of holding up to 100,000 undocumented immigrants. And 59% of Americans oppose arresting and detaining undocumented immigrants who have resided in the U.S. for years with no criminal record. In an interview that aired on CBS over the weekend, acting ICE Director Todd Lyons detailed the administration's sweeping deportation efforts.
ICE is always focused on the worst of the worst. One difference you'll see now is under this administration, we have opened up the whole aperture of the immigration portfolio, meaning that if you're here illegally and ICE goes out and arrests someone that is released from a sanctuary jurisdiction or wanted in their home country, and an ICE officer finds other individuals with them who are in the country illegally, we're going to take them as well.
Now, ICE is getting a big funding boost. It's set to receive $75 billion from the president's sweeping agenda bill. And despite reactions that we are seeing in that data that we just detailed, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has said that this new funding will allow the department to ramp up efforts even more. And we also know that 700 Marines deployed to Los Angeles will leave the city. That's according to the Pentagon. The Marines were sent to LA in June alongside 4,000 National Guard soldiers during protests against immigration raids. The Marines primarily guarded federal buildings. Last week, the Pentagon also confirmed the end of deployment for 2,000 National Guard troops, while others remain in the city. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 2 living children are urging people to tread lightly with newly released records related to their father's assassination. Martin III and Bernice King opposed the Trump administration's decision to release more than 240,000 pages of records concerning the slain civil rights leader. King's children noted that their father was the victim of sometimes illegal surveillance by then FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover, who viewed King as a radical. Some civil rights activists said Trump is releasing the King files to distract from his own troubles related to Jeffrey Epstein. And in your price points tonight, extreme weather caused by climate change is making basic food products more expensive. That's according to a new study by a Barcelona supercomputer center. Research found a wide range of goods saw spikes in recent years due to extreme weather conditions. Previous studies have looked at how high temperatures have affected food produce costs in long term. One example is for the price of olive oil. That product saw a 50% price spike in Europe in January 2024 from earlier this year. It was the effect of a prolonged drought across Italy and Spain in 2022 and 2023.
This is going to be a destination. I think, in fact, it's probably going to upgrade the whole area.
They are talking about a new and unique attraction coming to Los Angeles for Tesla drivers. This is Elon Musk's new 24-hour diner and drive-in theater in Hollywood. This is a place where Tesla drivers can go to charge up their vehicles and also enjoy some food and watch a movie while they wait. An official opening date has not been announced yet. Southwest Airlines will end its open seating policy on January 27th. Southwest first announced the change last summer, going to assigned seating for the first time in the airline's history. Tickets for assigned seats can be purchased beginning next week. Earlier this year, Southwest announced it will no longer offer 2 free checked bags for many customers. The changes are part of the carrier's move to find new revenue streams for its business. Well, from air traffic controller shortages to runway construction and the unpredictability of summer storms, air travelers can face some major headaches, to say the least. Just this weekend, a technical issue caused delays and cancellations for an Alaska Airlines. Michael Yoshida shares some tips on what you can do when your departure time is up in the air.
It's definitely been a summer of delays and cancellations and a lot of grumpiness.
From bad weather to staffing problems to computer outages and more, airlines have faced some turbulence this summer.
So all of this just compounds and creates a heap of problems.
Travel writer Andrea Sachs says if your flight's delayed when you're trying to get away, remember these things. Beware of the creeping delay, a flight that keeps getting pushed later and later and then eventually gets canceled. As soon as you see or hear about there being a potential problem, investigate the cause. Is it weather, mechanical, or something else? And where is your plane? Is it in the air or still sitting at another airport?
Then you know whether you could just sit tight and wait, or you need to jump in and start advocating for yourself.
Create a backup plan ASAP. Don't wait for more alerts or to be rebooked automatically. Use your airline's app or other travel apps to find other flight options, even less direct ones that still get you close to your destination. Also, when trying to rebook or get help, use every form of communication, in person at the gate, through the app, on the phone, or even through social media to make sure you're heard and addressed. And know what you want. Be prepared with possible options and be aware of code share agreements or partnerships your carrier may have with other airlines.
You need to help yourself a little bit to give them some guidance. And it's okay, stand up for yourself.
Coming up, a fall favorite returns before the leaves even start to turn color. All right, before we go, Starbucks just revealed the date when its PSL will make its big return. Mark your calendars for August 26th. Pumpkin spice is pretty much a marker of fall at Starbucks as well as for other retailers. Data from Nielsen finds that Americans spend more than $500 million on pumpkin spice products each year. I can say that my husband is part of that 500 million. As always, thank you so much for watching and for always inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, you can always email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.